gonna ramp it up. Ramp it up. We're gonna ramp it up. Come on. Yeah. Cause we're gonna ramp it up. Say ramp it up. Ramp it up. Ramp it up. Quit talking like you got it. Put your money where your mouth is. Ramp it up. Ramp it up. We're gonna ramp it up. Let's see what you can do. Can you make the cut? I live on the block, and I can make your heart stop.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, how are you doing today? I'm your host as always, Thomas JK, the Xploder, and we are back in the world of League of Legends, giving you my first impressions of Jayce, the newest champion in the League of Legends roster. Now, as you see, I am playing as full Metal Jayce, which immediately tells you that yes, I am a sucker for robots. More about that in a moment. So in this first impressions, I'm going to be basically going on about what I think of Jayce, as well as what Jayce is all about, such as his abilities, his play styles, how you can use him, and then my impressions. That's pretty much it. Pretty much it. Apologise for any flickering in the early stages, that's my laptop sucking for you. Another reason as to why I didn't want to record this on my laptop, but I had to because I still don't have my new PC yet. I know, right? Still don't have it yet. But hopefully, like, I'm recording this on the 8th of July. And hopefully by the end of this week coming, I will have a new PC up and running. So keep an eye out on that, ladies and gentlemen. As for Jayce though, Jayce I really love to bits. Jayce is a great addition to the League of Legends roster, and is actually quite unique in amongst itself. So, starting off, I think I'll tell you about a little bit of Jayce's lore. So Jayce comes from Piltover, the same city that Caitlyn also comes from. And Jayce is a very big inventor. He invents a lot of stuff and invents real high technology things, and you can see from obviously what he's wielding in his hands. Now, he's just in Piltover, minding his own business, making his own stuff, until one evening, Victor, yes, that's Victor with the claw for a hand, or the extra claw for a hand. You know the Victor I'm talking about. Went over his house, basically said, "I'm gonna steal your schematics." Grabbed schematics to one of his newest designs and ran away. This did not please Jayce, and Jayce was trying to get justice from the Piltover government to obviously resolve this issue, and sadly it wasn't, which was sad face. So Jayce, being the pissed off guy that he was, decided to go over to see Victor and basically say, "Hey Victor, give me back my shit," and beats the crap out of Victor, takes back his schematics, and comes back to Piltover as a hero. Awesome. And now he spends most of his time in Piltover being the defender of the city, which is awesome. He is technically the defender of Piltover, which is a really nice story, makes him sound like a proper Superman-esque character, which is always good. There's always room for more Garens in the world, don't we think? Spin to win. There you go. And so, let's talk about Jayce and his abilities, shall we? Now, I just leveled up here. Now, if you saw, now, like as seeing there, Jayce starts off with his ultimate, but his ultimate isn't really an ultimate. His ultimate is called Transform, basically allowing his weapon to change from a ranged mode called the Cannon, well, I'm going to be calling it the Cannon, and a melee mode, simply known as the Hammer. You gotta love the hammer. Hammer lays down the smack. And with those two different weapons, they also have their own different ability sets. So as I'm going to be talking about Jayce, I will be talking about his abilities depending on what weapon I am using with him. Starting off with his Cannon, which I also like to call from time to time the crossbow. So if you hear me calling it the Cannon and then hear me calling it the crossbow, just know that it's all good. It's all good. So this is passive, Hex Temp Capacitor. He gains 40 movement speed for 1.25 seconds and ignores unit collision each time Transform is cast. And Transform is his ultimate, which which basically transforms a Mercury cannon into the Mercury hammer and vice versa, gaining new abilities and 5 armor and magic resist, which increase upon rank. And the next attack in the hammer stance deals an additional 20 magic damage, which I demonstrate here in a moment. Lay down the hammer! Yeah, that's for damage. And when you switch back, the next attack in cannon stance actually lowers the magic resist and armor of your target for a short period of time. So they both have their bonuses, and it encourages you to correlate not just necessarily using just the cannon and just the hammer when you're using Jayce. It really convinces you to use it on a regular basis and go from range to melee to range again, or melee to range to melee again, just to mix out his abilities and to also maximize his damage output, which is absolutely immense. So let's have a look at his ranged abilities first, starting with Shock Blast. Fires an orb of electricity, dealing damage in a short AoE. As you see in a minute here when I use it, boom. And as you saw there, it damaged the main minion and the minion he was next to. It's a very small AoE, but it's a small AoE that is very nice. It's very handy for getting rid of those pesky minion waves where they're all huddled against one another and you just want to shoot one thing and take them all out. Very, very nice indeed. I will go on to his W in a second, once I stop looking at Shock Blast. Yes, I'm doing post-commentary on this. I did live commentary and my microphone was muted, so yeah, rookie error on my part. Yeah, I hate myself for that. But I'm still giving you the commentary anyway, because I am dedicated. I'm not just going to give you raw footage and get away with this, let's put it that way. So yes, this is a Q in action again, blasting, gotta love it. Now let's have a look at his W when in cannon stance. Anytime now. Oh yeah, this is when I was trying to calculate in my mind what the actual AD ratio on his Q probably is. His Q, I roughly came up with, has a 1.2, 1.25 AD ratio on it. So it has quite a good ratio for a Q. So your bonus damage will go very well into this. And I mean very well. Get a rank in my ulti there. So, his W, Hypercharge. Gains a burst of energy, increasing attack speed to maximum for the next 3 attacks, and dealing 85% plus bonus AD in damage. Now, you're probably curious thinking 85%? He actually loses damage upon using this ability? Why the hell would you get a point in it? Well, that's in an early rank. In early ranks you only do like 85 and 95%. And then by the time you hit rank 3 it's at 100%, so you're averaging out your damage. And then when it hits max at level 5, it actually deals 125% damage plus the AD ratio that you'll be getting from it as well, which is truly nuts. And by the way, when I'm saying it maxes your attack speed, I mean it can take your attack speed from 0.6 to 2.5 for the next 3 attacks, like I showed you there against that tower. Your next 3 attacks will literally be boom, boom, boom. No need for Phantom Dancers, no need for Black Cleavers, you just need to activate that ability. Yes, it only works for 3 attacks, but if you can get all 3 of those attacks in at that faster pace, you can take down turrets, you can take down people, really fast speed. So let's have a look at his E, Acceleration Gate. Deploys an Acceleration Gate, speeding you up, and the speed bonus goes down over time. And as well as that, if you fire your Shock Blast through it, it increases the Shock Blast range, acceleration, and burst damage AoE, which is pretty damn awesome. I'm going to do a demonstration of the Acceleration Gate right here. Just going to put it down like this. You put it down like Carthus's wall, and if you go through it, it speeds you up, and if you fire through it, yep, that's the Shock Blast being basically shock blasted through it. Very nice ability, I will say, very handy for taking on champions that are running away on really low health, and you can't catch them because your movement speed low, you don't have flash up, and you still want to kill them. You just whip out the Acceleration Gate, fire your Q through it, and boom! They'd be dead before you even look back. Sexy, I love it. And that's basically all of the abilities that he has in cannon mode. Now, when he switches from cannon stance to hammer stance, all his cooldowns immediately get refreshed. Another reason why you're more encouraged to switch out between being ranged and melee on a continual basis, because it immediately cancels out all your cooldowns. Reminds me a lot of Nidalee switching in and out of cat form. So think of it like that, only instead of actually changing your appearance and changing your movement speed and base stats, you're changing your weapon and your fighting style because of the weapons you're using. So here we go, cannon stance to hammer stance. Hammer stance is a more one-on-one orientated stance. This is the stance you put on to regain your mana, to regain your composition, to real power down the targets that you're fighting against, and to punch them in the face continuously. So, his first ability is, I think it's Reach for the Sky. Sorry, I didn't see it there. But basically, he leaps at a target from the sky, dealing damage and slowing him down, and it also has a little AoE to that as well. So it is a very nice ability, a very good ability to either catch up to people if they're on low health, or if they are on high health, simply getting up to them with that and then getting past them, using your E to knock them back, and then switch back to your crossbow and deal some more damage to them that way. Very nice. Now his W is Lightning Field. It's a passive that gives you mana for each strike, which is kind of like Kassadin, and his active has an area of effect around you that deals magic damage over time for a short period of time. I'll be showing that in a second here against this minion wave. So this is the ability that makes him a little bit like Karthus and Kassadin put together. You get Kassadin's mana regeneration per hit, as well as Karthus's AoE of Uttermost Doom. However, if you are going to go straight edge AD with Jayce, this might not do a lot of damage, but it might just give you the bonus damage you need to finish the job. And last but not least, Thundering Blow. You deal so much damage, plus bonus AD, plus percentage of your enemy's maximum health as damage, and you also knock them back a short distance, which also stuns them. That is friggin' awesome, and is a great ability to use when you're ganking or trying to prioritize one target over another and get them out of position, whether it's in a solo instance, whether it's in a 2-on-1 instance, or whether it's in a complete team fight scenario. Very handy ability, and very, very useful, and very damage dealing as well against those tanky guys like Alistar, Gragas, Cho'Gath, Jarvan, Garen, those type of guys, which is very nice. Now that we've covered every single ability that Jayce has, I'm going to now bring up the conversation of builds and which areas he excels at. Starting off with the first build, straight up your butt AD carry. He can AD carry. It's tough because his range with his cannon isn't as large of a range as he would have with people like Caitlyn or people like Varus, but it's still a ranged AD, and he can be a ranged AD carry. To be a ranged AD carry, you mostly focus on your crossbow for dealing with minions, as well as your crossbow for dealing with those pesky enemies that get a little bit too close to your face. But when you're AD carrying, as well as any of the other builds that you will be doing, you are encouraged to switch out between using your crossbow and using your hammer on a very regular basis. So if you're in a mindset so that, okay, I need my minions, I need my last hits, I need to get my gold up as soon as possible, concentrate on using your cannon for that time being. As soon as a team fight is about to spur on, or as soon as you think you can take someone on, start off with your crossbow and then switch out to the hammer and smack them down to smithereens, and then by the time you hit them down, burst them down with your hammer, you should then be able to switch back to your cannon and finish off the job at range, keeping you away from their turrets and keeping them away from getting away on very tiny health. Very handy when going AD in the bot lane. That's a little tip for any guys there. And the items you're going to be looking for down there are your stereotypical AD carry items. You're going to be looking at your Infinity Edges, your Bloodthirsters, your Black Cleavers, your Guardian Angels for late game defensiveness, maybe even a Banshee's Veil as well if you want to be that little bit more defensive. Overall, he can be a ranged AD carry. Something you might want to practice a little bit with a ranged AD carry feel if you don't feel confident enough with Jayce. But keep that in mind, he can do it. Now his second build, which is going to be probably the one build everyone will probably do as him in main games, is his tanky AD build. Or tanky DPS build, sorry. His tanky DPS build will work really great in solo top as well as jungle. And same applies when you're doing those as well as when you're down in bottom being a ranged AD carry. Switching out between your cannon and your hammer is essential. And this is when I heavily fail against Garen, when my mouse sensitivity goes all over the place and the turret kills me. Not my fault, 100% my mouse. Okay? Blame that little shit. Yeah. Just thought I'd bring that up. But anyway, same thing applies when you're soloing top or when you're jungling with Jayce, but you're doing a more tanky DPS oriented build. What you're doing this time round differently is that if you're soloing top, you want to be able to sustain the lane ready for when your jungler ganks in. And by sustaining the lane, it makes it easier if you're Now normally, ranged AD characters don't solo top. Mainly because ranged AD characters, yes, they have the range to get many last hits, but when it comes to a one-on-one situation, they get heavily knocked down, mainly because of their low health at low levels, as well as their lack of real escapee moves, let's say. That's why solo tops you mainly see people like Riven, people like Tryndamere, Jarvan, Cho'Gath, Gragas, those hefty melee hitters that will either hit you hard with melee or hit you hard with spells and abilities, which will truly and utterly kick your butt if you are not bulky enough. Which is where Jayce comes in. Because Jayce has a nice diversity of both ranged and melee attacks, he can go from getting minions really easily with his cannon, and then when it comes to a one-on-one situation or helping out his jungler with ganking, he can then switch out to his hammer, burst the guy down, knock him back a little bit, slow him down, and then switch back to the cannon again to finish off the job. This is what makes Jayce, in my eyes, a very true hybrid character. And what I mean by this is, he can basically fill the gap situation that you need depending on how your team is doing. If your team needs a guy that is slightly more tanky than damage dealy, then make sure you build Jayce in that way. If they want someone that's straight up the butt damage dealer that can take out turrets and champions like for absolute nothing, then build Jayce that way. If you want someone that literally is a hybrid of both worlds, that is both tanky and damage dealing, he can do that as well. This is what Jayce is about. Both he can be a hybrid item-wise as well as ability-wise due to what he is capable of doing. Truly making him, in my eyes, a fantastic, true hybrid champion. Okay, so I've gone through the technical jargon, told you his abilities, and basically where he excels at. Now my impressions. Now when I first heard of Jayce, I was like, well, he was being advertised as the hero of tomorrow or the warrior of tomorrow. I forget what it was off the top of my head. And the first thing that came to my mind was, oh, Futurama. And I love Futurama. Yeah, Futurama references for the win. It's awesome. And so that's what I thought initially, and I thought to myself, okay, so he seems interesting. I literally thought he was going to be the next Garen. I thought, hence why I am also fighting Garen here, which kind of brings up the topic. I thought when I first saw him, he was going to be the next Garen. The kind of guy that'll be in your face, have a lot of health regen, be quite bulky, and be able to really suffocate you when it comes to team fight situations. When in fact, he's the complete opposite. He's like the combination of an AD carry in a solo top sustain. it's the best of both worlds. And as soon as I really started playing with him a little bit, I was like, wow, Jayce, where have you been all my life? And Jayce just felt really right to me. Like, if you know me really well, you know I'm the kind of guy that actually builds champions hybrid all the time. And by hybrid, I mean AD AP hybrid, where I give them items like Trinity Force, Rage Blade and Gunblade to maximize their AD output as well as their AP output, but works well with both their auto attacks as well as their abilities. Now with Jayce, this is perfect for him. You can give him items that will increase his attack damage and his attack speed that correlate well with his ranged attacks with his cannon, but you can also give him tanky items that correlates well when he has to get in there face on with his hammer, which is absolutely brilliant. I love champions that really excel at being hybrid, either in abilities or in fighting situations. And Jayce to me feels like both of that. He's a hybrid in both battle and out of battle. Out of battle, he is a very mixed between attack and he's mixed between damage dealing and burst damage dealing and ability using. Whilst in battle, he is a mix of bulk and damage and pure grit, which is a great addition to the team. He's like a Jarvan in that sense, where he's able to deal great amounts of damage, but is able to create immense amounts of damage in such a way that makes him feel like an AD carry, yet he kind of feels like he should be a sustain. Like, and well, that's what I initially thought of, anyway, in my initial feelings. After seeing the champion spotlight the Freak did, it truly enlightened me to what Jayce was truly all about, and I was like, drooling over it, and loved all that I saw. And I was saying Jayce. Freak really outlined one build for him, which was the AD build, concentrating on attack damage runes, attack damage, armor, magic resist runes, the up your butt attack damage masteries, and then the bulkiness in the defensive masteries as well as. So we're looking at 2190 for mastery wise for Jayce. And he was mainly talking about Jayce. Like, he brought up Jayce being able to be a ranged AD carrying bot, being a solo top, and also being a formidable jungler as well as. But when it came to talking about runes and when it came to talking about masteries, it was mainly concentrating about the ranged AD. I don't know, because after playing as Jayce, after looking at that spotlight, I truly feel he will suit better as a solo top champion or jungler rather as a ranged AD carry. And even then, I personally think he is a much better solo top than he would even be a jungler, just because his E, you have to really be good with his E in order to be able to gank people. You would have to get in there at the right time, knock them back towards your teammate to guarantee that they're away from the turret and you can get a kill. He just feels good as a solo top champion. Not that that's a bad thing, but I just personally think a lot of people are just going to play the safe bet and play him as solo top. You're not going to see a lot of Jayce junglers, or you're not going to see a lot of ranged AD Jayces. I could be 100% wrong by all means, but this is honestly my impressions of Jayce. I personally think that the hybrid attitude that he has of him might go to a waste for most of the hardcore players in the world of League of Legends. But that's my honest opinion, quite frankly. I could be 100% wrong with that. I could be 100% right by all means. with a world of MOBA, anything's possible. Yeah, I know, right? But yeah, that's pretty much my initial feelings of Jayce. I think I've covered everything now that I think about it. Yeah, pretty much have. If I have missed out on anything, by all means, comment in the comment section below and let me know what you think of Jayce, and let me know of whether you have Jayce and you've played him, whether you think he does preferably excel at a solo top area, or whether you think he excels in a different area. Let me know how you like to build him, how you like to play as him, your first impressions of him in the comment section below by all means. Also, if you'd just like to hear more of my impressions, or if you don't know anything that much about Jayce that you want to know more of that I could possibly answer for you, let me know, and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions for you. But on that note, that will pretty much sum up my first impressions of Jayce, the newest addition to the League of Legends roster, which I am very happy to see. Now, before closing off, I do want to say to you guys that I now have a Teamspeak server that is up, and I'm ready to announce that we have opened the Xploder strategies as a community. We are now accepting people into the Xploder strategies to become community members of the Xploder strategies. Simply being a chilled out group of gamers that like playing with one another, bringing in some new mates that you might not necessarily know before, that you can make new friends on there, that you can play games with, or just chat with, or brainstorm ideas with. It doesn't matter if you do or don't make videos, or whether you do or don't play MOBAs. You can literally play any game and you can get involved. You can play StarCraft or any other RTSs, you can play League of Legends or any other MOBAs like Dota 2, you can play FPSs like Counter-Strike Source or Call of Duty. Don't know why you would play Call of Duty though, to be quite honest. Sorry about that. If you did get that, I'll give you a $5. And we're generally very chilled out and laid back. We have sections in our Teamspeak server for people that want to play games and just chill out, people that want to make videos, people that just want to sleep and AFK, or people that just want to generally chill out with people, which is quite awesome. As well as that, in the long run as well, we will also be encouraging people to become a part of the TXS Elite, which is short for the Xploder Strategies Elite Division. And the Elite Division will be a group of players that want to go the extra mile and want to become a little bit more pro, so the people that represent the community in ranked matches, the people that represent the community in ranked or professional environments. So it opens you up to those locations. We're not forcing you to become a part of the community, we're not forcing you to become a pro, we're not lashing on any restrictions to you, we're not saying, oh, you gotta be on the Teamspeak server at all times while you're on your PC, that's just gay. We're not a clan, we don't give you strict rules, we're just a community and we're expanding. So if you want to be a part of us, the Teamspeak address that you will need is in the address below. If you have any troubles downloading Teamspeak or any help with using Teamspeak whatsoever, by all means give me a bell, I'll be more than happy to help you guys out when it comes to that. And on top of that as well, we are also currently making a website for the Xploder strategies as well, so keep your eyes open for that. So become a part of our community today by joining our Teamspeak server in the description below. Also follow me on Facebook and Twitter for video updates, stuff on my personal life, as well as mini reviews on upcoming game releases. And I will be seeing you guys on the battlefield next time. I'm Domus900 aka the Xploder. Goodbye fellow gamers, goodbye. And I will be seeing all of you guys on the battlefield.